What's good, YouTube? RuneXYJo here, just to share, after a sweaty, meta-shifting grind, we finally made it to Masters. And we made it with Snake Fiendsmith. Because of this big meta shift in all these new decks and a lot of Fiendsmith shenanigans, we just had to kind of join them and play it, just because the game has really gotten, in my opinion, just so much more difficult to play and do engine, because it shifted, in my opinion, to more hand trap meta over engine meta. But let's get to the deck profile. This is Snake Fiendsmith. Small tweaks from my last video. I strongly recommend to watch that video. Link will be in this description, just for the previous video of the showcase of Snake Fiendsmith. This is the strongest deck in Master Duel ever since Fiendsmith came out. It's a strong one-card combo. If I could summarize the deck, there's 3 engines. There is Fiendsmith engine, the Diabellstar or Azamina to go into a Omni Negate, and lastly there is Snake Eyes. They all can tag each other out depending on what you draw, your opening hand. They can all search each other except maybe as Diabellstar or Azamina stuff. You just have to draw those. But Fiendsmith and Snake Eyes do go hand in hand. They're an amazing deck. No changes from the last video other than just hand traps. You play hand traps as you please, based off budget, based off meta, and whatever you guys think you need. This is just the best ratios in terms of the budget that I currently have. I'm not going to go over the deck profile too much. I just wanted to go into replays, assuming you know already how to play the deck, or you can learn something by watching me play the deck or the replays. I wanted to break down this video by showing you ideally how to play the deck when it's uninterrupted, which is very unlikely. Next, when you do get interrupted, how to play around it and still get a suitable end board. And lastly, when just, you know, poop hits the fan and you just gotta play your wits end and, you know, beat your opponent down. One thing I did add, a strong card that I strongly recommend other Snake Fiendsmith players to use, is Snake Doom Dragon. This thing is goated. This thing can go for lethal, and it's just an extra card to throw to the spell and trap, and possibly even recycle and use their monsters against them. Snake Doom Dragon is essentially a free card. If you guys have not tried it, I strongly recommend trying it, just because it's a niche card, and when it comes up, it's strong. The other thing that others may not be asking me, where is Caesar? You can definitely play Caesar, the DDD solemn monster. I play Desiree, that's why, because I value Desiree over Caesar. It does make me more vulnerable to Nib, but we're just gonna have to risk it. I love Desiree just because I want to still invest in it just until Lacrima, the waifu, comes out. So let me know what you guys think if it's wrong, but the deck is very tight. The only interchangeable things that you could do to the extra deck from what I've seen is Doom Dragon and Desiree. Everything else, you will probably be going into it 9 times out of 10, and you do need a Hida, just because you need to get rid of Promethean Princess when it's on the field and you can't link it off anymore because you're locked into fires. But let's get into replays now. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the deck. I will link the build from the Master Duel deck builder. It'll always change based off hand traps, but it seems the engine is already made and established. I hope you guys enjoyed these diamond level, master level replays. Now, the theme for this video is hand trap wars. Meta has changed so much that honestly, with all the replays I'm going to show you, it's so crazy how decks are playing like about almost half the deck is hand traps, 20 hand traps or so, and games are ending because of Maxi or Fuvulos, or turns are ending because of that, and it's super hard to play the game. There's barely any engine because of how prevalent one card combo is. That the MVP card I'd like to highlight was Triple Tactics Talent. This is the reason I got into Masters. Absolutely love this card. you're more likely gonna be using the effect 2 and 3 just because you have so many 1-card starters. You're probably likely gonna have it that taking control of your one monster of your opponent is game changing to link it away or any problematic monsters, or especially going first. And since the hand trap wars are so prevalent, looking at your opponent's hand, you're gonna see in a lot of my replays, 3 of them I believe or 2, that ripping a card was the reason I won, because I knew what they didn't have enough to push for a combo. But yeah, Talents is amazing, and it's so crazy that we're playing this many hand traps, but this is the new meta now. Let's go to these replays. I hope you enjoy. So for the first replay, we are fighting Kashtira Tiear Fiendsmith. And I believe they let us go first, and this showcase of this replay is to show going first uninterrupted how a ideal board would look like. So our hand is pretty strong going second as well. We have 2 Imperms, Diabellstar, Ash, and 1-for-1. We have strong 1-card, full power engine here. And in my opinion, do not normal summon Ash first, because we want Ash, we value Ash to get their plays going, combos going. Diabellstar though, you can live without Diabellstar, it's just it enables way more link plays to happen. So going first here, we obviously discard one of the Imperms just because that's an extra copy. Everything else is pretty 1-card combo. So we summon Diabellstar here first, seeing if they have anything, and looking from my memory, if anything went red, nothing went red. Therefore, it gave me the prediction that there would be no hand traps, possibly Nib, but we played through it. So we get a Deception. Deception typically will tribute Diabellstar to get hollowed. Hollowed Azamina goes into Murcielago. Yeah, Murcielago, my mistake. And that searches Wanted. Now, typically you could either get Wanted or you'll see in other replays you could get another Sinful Spoils. But because we already have starter of Ash, we don't need Sinful Spoils anymore. So, we normal summon Ash now. The reason we do this is because we want to either link away Murcielago to use Hollowed Azamina to send it back to the extra deck and summon our Omni Negate. Now, we just get Snake Eyes into Poplar. This is normal. Poplar into Field Spell. Field Spell into Snake Eyes Diabellstar. And then we link off to Link Karibo. Poplar to Reset. Snake Eyes Ash to send Poplar. Oak to get Ash. Link to get Moon of the Closed Heaven. We would have gotten Nibbed by now, by the way, but we risked it. This was kind of greedy on my part, because we could have easily summoned Sylvia for a Monster Negate or Omni Negate, but the thing is, I valued Murcielago a lot to link off. It's a free linkage, and yes, again, this was very greedy on my part. So we go into Fiendsmith. So we have all 3 engines online now. We tribute to get Engraver. Let's fast forward a bit. Engraver to attach. The reason we do this is for Oak. We don't want to send Diabellstar or Snake Eyes Diabellstar because we can summon it for extra link fodder. So we use Oak to send the equip, go into sequence. Sequence gets back. I'm sorry. We link to get Flamberge, then link into sequence, and then the effect of Flamberge to bring back the 2 Snake Eyes. We then fusion summon to Desiree. We then link finally Murcielago and 1 card to get into Masquerena. By the way, it's very important. Do not block your I'm not that experienced. Do not block your points for your link cards, because you might possibly lock yourself. So then we finally link into Promethean. Promethean gets us Flamberge, we also attach Desiree with Sequence. Effect of Diabell Star, set that down. This is for next play to summon Poplar or Ash. We then use Desiree to negate Princess, and then we finally go into Apollosa with IP Masquerena, so it's protected. Extra protection. We then set IP, then Hollowed Azamina to send back Ristilago, Hollowed Azamina to also chain Wanted. This is very important. Always chain Wanted, so you get a free add to hand with Diabell Star, with Hollowed Azamina sending Wanted. Since it's already on the field, it will be sent to the grave and effect still goes through. That's very important. So, in this end board that we have going first uninterrupted, we have 3 monster negates, plus it cannot be destroyed by bad card effects, 2 field negates with Desiree, 1 Omni negate with Sylvia, IP to SP for 2 banishments, we have Princess, that's 9 interruptions, and lastly we have Imperm, that's 10 interruptions that we did with basically essentially a 1-card combo. But we drew all our 1-card combos, so this is the game, and then end phase we set that for next turn if we happen to use Sylvia. So it's our opponent's turn. They play Lightning Storm, which it's threatening because they are trying to destroy all our spells and traps. We need IP for our extra spell and trap, and Imperm was too important, so we just had to use Sylvia here. Negate. And scoop. I guess 10 interruptions is a little bit too much. So another one of us going first, we are playing against Pure White Forest Azamina. You may be wondering why I have Ghost Spell. I was testing around back and forth hand traps during this time, but engine still remains the same, untouched, same ratios. So we go first here, and this example for this duel is to show off how Fiendsmith plays into Snake Eyes. Now again, this is an uninterrupted replay, so I assume there's no hand traps, or we negate the hand traps. So this is going to be an uninterrupted replay. We go first, main phase 1, Engraver, send to the grave, grab Track. Track gets us Lurie, Lurie sent to the grave, Lurie gets special summon, they try to maxi us, however we have the out with Ash Blossom. We then synchro into Requiem. Requiem tributes itself for the second copy of Engraver. Engraver sends Lurie back to special summon it with its graveyard effect. We then go into Link 2 for Sequence. Sequence will send the 2 Fiendsmiths or Fiends in the grave to get Lacrima. Lacrima's effect. Now typically we can add this to our hand, but this example we have to special summon it to have an extra level 6 body. So we then XYZ summon into Beatrice. Beatrice detaches to send Snake Eye Ash, our starter. We then summon into Link 3 Princess, because Sequence is a Link 2 plus 1, that's 3 for Link 3 for Lacrima, and then we use the effect to send Sequence back to burn for 1200. You don't have to do that, you could keep it for next turn with Lacrima if you wanted to keep it. But then we just summon back Ash, Ash gets Poplar, Poplar gets Field Spell, Field Spell gets Diabell Star, Diabell Star gets Oak, Oak will then special. So now, important thing, we are using Ash's effect here to send Princess. The reason we want Princess out on the field so we're no longer fire locked is why it's important we do that. We're just sending it though, and intentionally sending it to the spell and trap because we need it in the graveyard. We're just doing it just because. And then we finally get Flamberge. Flamberge, we set Beatrice just because there's nothing really else. I want everything in the graveyard, that's why. And we are Link before summoning into Appaloosa, having it to be 3200, and then Flamberge is a graveyard effect to special summon Snake Eye Ash and Oak, and then sending Flamberge in the grave because of Poplar's effect when it was Link summoned into IP Masquerena. Now, for this field, we did not go into Azamina stuff. This was literally Fiendsmith into Snake Eye. Very strong one-card combo with just one Fiendsmith. Here, we have 5 monster negates, IP to SP, so that's 2 banishments. Princess, that's 8 interruptions plus 2 hand traps. That's 9, 10. And then we have Flamberge to be special summoned from Divine Temple. Opponent's turn. They normal summon Sylvie. I use the effect of the field spell to special summon Flamberge so we can have a pop. They get apps. They summon Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Use the effect. Use Appaloosa's effect, negate. And chain to just have a body on the field. With Flamberge, we have nothing else to summon. They use TTT. We max C here. Now, this is the important part. Opponent misplays here. It's strong. They choose the wrong card to try to attempt to grab. The smart choice would have been when we chain with IP. We go into Little Knight. Opponent grabs Appaloosa. Now, this is not correct because we have the effect when it's Link summon this card to banish a card. If they grabbed Little Knight, essentially they'd be banishing both our cards because they obviously are gonna chain, but we also have Little Knight's second effect to banish. So I will eventually be getting back Appaloosa at the end of the turn. So, and it keeps its 2400. They try to LZ here, and they get Azamina LZ. And they're under max C, and we are trying to pop with Princess. They're level 4 because they have they only have 1 tuner at the time. But since they have Tails, they can get a second one. Effect of Flamberge to get Oak and Poplar. Oak's effect when summoned, and Poplar's effect when summoned. Grabbing me a spell or trap. We're gonna get Original Sinful, and then Oak to get us Ash, the trio. And they summon. We get Bonfire. They're using Tails to get Rusilla. Or Rusia, my mistake. Rusia. Synchro into Silvera. Now this is not looking good, because they're playing off, and they're Book of Eclipsing us. And now they have a Deception. A Deception. We Ash Blossom that. We drew into that. That was pretty good. And they concede. I think it was too much because either way we're drawing way too much being under max C. So, yes, we are going first and we're fighting Live Twin Spright. Now, this is the nitty-gritty parts of the replays. This was difficult. This was a difficult run of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because, yeah, the number of hand traps that we're gonna watch from this point forward was unbelievably difficult. This was every game, and it was really turn ending. We go first, and we have pretty much all gas, all engines. So we play Deception to try to bait, and also go to Azamina. They Mulcharmy us, and this is not good for us, because they're gonna draw, and I don't like making half boards, and this is awful. I didn't go into Risalago. I went into Azamina, and then I just got tracked to 10 to the grave, and Mulcharmy, oh, you only special summon from the deck, but then, literally, now we're under basically 2 maxis. So we try to negate that to try to mitigate as best as we can, because I can't have them draw this much. This is just too much. try to bonfire. And then use Hollowed Azamina to get it back for next turn. Normal summon Ash. Poplar, special. Get Original Sinful because we already have the Divine Temple. Use Original Sinful to special summon Oak. They draw again. Oak, special summon Pops. We are not trying to use the extra deck. We're just trying to do as much Snake Eyes as we can because it's too much to let them draw. But at this point, they drew too much. They Mulcharmies again. That's actually crazy. So we literally cannot have this happen. And we finally go into Apollosa and they draw 2. Awful, awful, awful. This is as best as we could have played this just because we were just pressured under Maxi 2 Mulcharmies and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 cards plus the 8th one for draw. Insane in the membrane. They play Live Twin. And I honestly don't even know what to negate at this point because I just wanted to try to stop them as best as I can. So we negate that. They special summon, so I special summon Poplar. They summon Sprite Blue. We are trying to negate that. We're trying to get them as little stuff as they can, even though they could one card combo us too. Go into Elf. Elf to special, we negate that as well. And now at this point they could attack over us, but they go into Gigantic Sprite here. So this, they attack us. Main phase 2, they detach, get Elf or Jet. Jet gets them their set card to attach cards. Now, important part. It is my turn, and we try to continue deception stuff. We go into Risalago. Risalago to try to search something. They negate us. Not good. I thought it was over, but looking around, I normal summoned our Ash Blossom to just, that's all we could do. Go into Moon of Closed Heaven, and we try to use our Snake Eyes or Fiendsmith combo to try to get us back into the game. We use Hollowed Azamina, send back Risalago. Fiendsmith Requiem to attach to Engraver. Now, this is finally a very situational thing to do. We're gonna use Engraver's effect to non-target this to send to the graveyard Gigantic Sprite. It's important because we need our Poplar in the graveyard, and I knew this. This is where it's very situational and really strong. We use Diabellstar's effect to put Oak there, special summon. Now we finally showcase Doom Dragon. That's why this card really comes in handy. We sent that to the back row, and they scoop. Knowing that we were gonna go for lethal, that was too much for them. So we are going first here as well. On our 4th replay, we are fighting Gishki Spright. And our hand is decent. We have enough hand traps to go second, but we have 1 card combo here. They Mulcharmy us. And honestly, I was pretty annoyed. I don't know if this was on stream, but I just tried to bonfire and they Ash Blossom that. I set 2 and passed. This was pretty demoralizing. They stopped us because of Mulcharmies. We didn't have enough gas to go, and I didn't want to use Deception to discard Valor and go into any plays just because of how much I respect Mulcharmies. So we essentially end here with 3 monster negates. Is it enough? We'll see. They get Gishki. I believe that's their starter. Normal summon it. We infirm that. They battle phase, attack. Rightfully, that was crazy. They passed there. So it's our turn, and they maxi us. Wonderful. Amazing. That's why these games are just turn ending, literally, by maxi. So now they're going crazy by summoning level 2s. They try to use Elf. I effect Veiler that, so they can't extend because they're trying to link or XYZ play. They finally go into Gigantic Spright to push for their last play. I knew this was their last play because typically, at all costs, as a Sprite player, you know you have to get Gigantic Spright to go through. We imperm that. Now, you might be wondering why not use Ash Blossom instead. It's because of Sinful Spoils. If we draw another spell or traps, Deception of Sinful Spoils can still be used by tributing one monster from your hand or field. It's more important to use Imperm here. They battle phase, attack us for 16. We get a pretty good card actually. So we play Deception. We risk it by sending Ash Blossom to get Hollowed. Hollowed to get Risilago. Effective Risilago to get Original Sinful. And they scoop knowing that we were about to go full combo on them. So that was a great example of how hand traps are literally ending our turns and how one card combos are way more prevalent nowadays because you're playing the hand trap battle. For the 5th game, we are fighting Tenpai Fiendsmith. Pretty interesting build, but Fiendsmith is pretty prevalent in almost any deck as of now. We start off by opening with Diabellstar. The reason we do this is because we want Bonfire to go off, so we're trying to get baited with hand traps here. And I preferred to send Veiler over Droll because just saying, I didn't know what I was fighting at the time, and I valued them not searching. They imperm us. Good. So we try to Bonfire here. They Ash Blossom us. So pretty strong interruptions our opponent has. So we normal summon Droll, and then they finally use Fuvalos and Maxi. I was ripping my hair out at this point. 4 hand traps were played turn 1. This is not common. This is more common nowadays. We end turn. We are not letting them draw. I don't even know what we're playing against. And if they started Pydra, I'm scooping. But they end phase. You had too much non-engine. Good on our part. But then on draw phase, another Maxi. Crazy. We just battle. We attack. We're not gonna let them draw. We're just at least gonna Bonfire to get Ash for next turn. And normal summon Ash and get Oak. We don't get Poplar here because we don't want to special summon in and have them draw. Because I assume Ash is gonna die. At this point, I knew it had to be something like Tenpai because that's way too much. They set 1 card. My goodness. Now, finally, we can play. We drew a really clutch card, Cross Out. We play so many hand traps to make Cross Out online. We go into Moon of Closed Heavens. Moon of Closed Heaven into Requiem. Requiem Tribute to get Engraver. Engraver to attach. Use Ash's effect to special Poplar. Poplar to get Divine Temple. Divine Temple to set Diabellstar. Poplar to Link. Poplar to be sent to the back row. Normal summon Oak. Oak to get us Ash. They nib us. I knew nib was gonna be around, but I was so confident with Crossout that we crossed out nib. And they scoop. Very difficult gameplay, but that shows how a normal game that's not normal, or that's more common now. To have hand traps and Fuvalos just end your turn. And luckily, we got lucky to have them also draw no engine. third duel, we are going first, and we're fighting White Forest Azamina Fiendsmith, probably the tier 3 best deck right now. Our hand, looking strong 1-card combo. Best thing I would do in the way we play this, we use Engraver to try to get any hand traps to be used, because Snake Eye Ash is our starter and our most important play. They maxi us. We Engraver to at least just get Fiendsmith track and end phase here. Crazy. These games have been like that, where they just draw phase maxi us. And I really thought it was over, because they get to play. But, you know, we got something for them too. Just waited. We don't do it on draw phase because I want to try to get a guaranteed draw. That's why. And they Ash Blossom that. So, little do they know, we give them a taste of their own medicine. And we maxi them. So now, it's their turn to get maxied. By sending their own Fuvalos. Crazy. They could have... yeah. Murcielago, we draw with Maxi. This is another card that was added just to test hand traps, seeing how useful they got, and it did come in handy. You'll get to see why you can mess around with hand traps in this deck as you do so. As you do so, please. They go into their Fiendsmith combo and try to use that's wanted to get an Omni Negate here. Now we're praying here we get Nib, and we finally got Nib. Now it's important, we have to try to get Sylvia to get negated, because they are currently Nib proof right now. We are drawing though. Opponents definitely playing the Maxi challenge. We try to bait here. We want LZ to get destroyed because they're trying to fusion summon with it. Then they finally use Sylvia's effect, so we Nibiru them. Strong showcase of why Nibiru is so popular, sending that a rock down from space to negate Ash Blossom, but it didn't matter because LZ's in the graveyard now. And we just stopped their plays. They still will have Engraver attached, sending the rock away, and they scoop. That they turn-ended us, but we also turn-ended them. This is why this game, the meta now, is a hand trap battle. So this is a tournament, and this was for the Cosmic Clash. We are going second, and we're fighting, I believe it's Chimera Fiendsmith Azamina. So they open up with track. We try to maxi here. So they cross out designate us. Kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. They're soon to be under Niv. We let all this go through. We have an Imperm. We're just waiting for sequence, that's why. Yeah. But actually we Imperm Azamina Mo. Because of that, they're just stuck with these two. They set 2, and that's when we nib them. So nib coming in handy for these replays, kind of useful. Thankfully we drew engine, because if we just drew another hand trap, it probably wouldn't go so well. But we could have probably, if we did drew a hand trap, go into Moon of the Close Heavens. But we get rid of one copy of Called by the Grave. We get Deception. Deception, we send Black Witch. They have a Called by. So I hollowed Azamina to get Murcielago. Murcielago to get Sinful Spoils. We go into IP Masquerena. They Called by the Grave Murcielago, so we cannot send it back to the extra deck, unfortunately. But we send IP to get Ash, normal plays, Ash to get Poplar, Poplar to... So this was kind of bad here, Poplar to get Field Spell, however they set our Ash, so it doesn't look too good because we can't link or use anything with Ash, but we play around it by sending Poplar back to the grave, going into Doom Dragon. This was why it was very useful, because we send it to our Spell and Trap, and then go into Moon of Closed Heavens. And what's cool is during this part, that's why we play Link Karibo. Link Karibo's pretty broken to still enable plays. When we go into our Fiendsmith, we use Link Karibo to send Ash, so now we have 2 cards online. Then we go in, and they end the game, just because they knew they don't have any cards left. Now, I couldn't record game 2, but we lost, so now we're in game 3 going first. And our hand is pretty strong. Talent's coming in clutch again because they have 2 hand traps, they have 2 interruptions for us. First things we do, we try to bait with Engraver. They Mulcharmy us. I don't like that, so I have to call by the grave. We get tracked. We talents. That's why it came in handy, because we know they have no way to stop us now. So seeing their hand, very useful. We use track to get Lurie. Lurie to discard. Lurie to be special. Lurie to Poplar to summon, or normal summon. Get Field Spell to die Bellstar. Go into Requiem, tribute to get the 2nd copy of Engraver. Now we have 2 go into Sequence to Fusion into Lacrima. Lacrima to special summon Engraver. XYZ to go into Beatrice. Beatrice to send Ash. Ash into Promethean. Promethean to get Ash. Ash to get Oak. Send those 2 to special summon Oak. Oak to grab, drop that down. We know in our lineup, we're gonna go for a strong Apollosa because we know they have only 3 monsters in their hand. Effect of Poplar, then Flamberge, and then Flamberge to special summon 2 Snake Eyes. Link into IP Masquerena. So our interruptions here is 4 monster negate, IP to SP, 2 banishments there. So that is 6 interruptions plus Nib, that's 7, and Princess, that's 8. With 4 cards in their hand, drawing a 2nd Nightmare Apprentice. Try to use the effect, negate. Use the effect of Engraver, negate. Effect, because they were trying to go to battle phase, we go to Little Knight and banish Apprentice. The end phase here, we draw, we use effect of Engraver, send back Lacrima. We link to away back to Sequence, go into Doom Dragon, and they quit. Doom Dragon came in clutch here because it gave us lethal, and we could have summoned more, and they ran out of resources. Saving the best games for last, we get revenge on Exodia. On our last stream, we lost 3 times to promos, and it was because of Exodia. And I wanted to get revenge, and we go first. Our hand is great. Like I said, Talents is the MVP of my climb to Masters this season, just because it enabled me to stop rip cards and lower their resources, and we're full combo here. They maxi us on draw phase. We Ash Blossom them. Negate. Main phase 1. Bonfire. To get Ash. Ash to normal. They Ash Blossom us. Now, finally that's on main phase 1. It's not that good, but we do that because we can keep going with Deception. That's why. So we Talents them. See their hand, and we choose Wing Dragon, the Sphere mode, because we are gonna go full combo. Because yeah, they have a Super Poly, so that's gonna suck. But we chose that just because that was probably the strongest card in their hand. Now they have 2 cards, so we go and discard Flamberge to get Hallowed Azamina, Murcielago to get Wanted, Ash to send to get Oak, Oak to get Ash, Hallowed Azamina to send Murcielago, Hallowed Azamina chain for Wanted to get Diabell Star. We get an Omni Negate. Now we can stop Super Poly, I believe, or can we not? I don't think so. So we drew into Diabell Star, both of them. We go into Poplar, Poplar Divine Temple to get back Flamberge. We send, that's an important one, guys. We send, when we normal summon Poplar and use Divine Temple, we send Flamberge to the Spell and Trap. Then we use the effect of Diabell Star to send Flamberge to trigger its effect to get to our Snake Eyes back. Go in the Moon of Close Heaven, and this is how we enable to go into Fiendsmith. So Fiendsmith Tribute, we get their sequence. Desiree. Go into Princess. Grab Flamberge, then negate Princess. Now, we end here, and we ideally end on a board that we always love. 2 monster negates, 2 Desiree, 1 Omni negate, and Princess. 6. Unfortunately, we couldn't get IP into the rotation, but we have 6, and they have 2 cards in their hand, plus 1 draw right now. So we are aware that they are going to Super Poly us, depending on what they choose. Is very important, and they chose Desiree and Sylvia, so our Omni Negate's gone. Going to Azamina Mo. Use the effect of Desiree. That's why we love Desiree. Desiree has a graveyard effect when it's sent to the grave. Shuffle 1 other Light Fiend monster from the grave into the extra deck. Then target the 1 card, send it to the grave. So Mo does not get to use its effect, and we chain to summon Snake Eyes Ash. At this point, they have nothing, because they're going to try to send this to the Spell and Trap, but the thing is, we're not going to let that happen, so they can't use its effect. So they're essentially locked down. They inevitably end turn. We draw. We use Hallowed Azamina's effect for Sylvia. Have that, Azamina again to get Sylvia, and they quit. We got revenge, and finally get to show you promos. This is my promos game into Masters. I love this game because we are, again, fighting Exodia. And I wanted to get revenge. Our hand is strong, especially going first. We won the coin flip. I can't express how much importance it is to win the coin flip nowadays, especially against this hand trap meta. Going first is just too strong now, building a board with a 1-card combo. So we have 1-for-1 in original Sinful Spoils. It's a very hard choice to choose things here, because I think we value Ash Blossom so much if they have a Maxi or Fuvalos that we're gonna have to eventually send Valor, unfortunately. So this is very high risk, high reward, because we're gonna, I believe, 1-for-1 by sending Valor. They Fuvalos, and I chose correctly because now they are playing into Ash Blossom. And they're playing into Talents. So, we luckily get Ash, our starter. Ash gets us Poplar. Poplar has to get Special Summon. And then we get Divine Temple. Now, important part. The MVP, the reason I love Talents, especially in one-card combo decks like Snake Eye Fiendsmith, because of this. We look at our opponent's hand. Now you may ask yourself, what is very important to grab here? This shield is their starter, I believe, and also is Sengenjin. So, we know they need to have this in the field, but Millennium Ankh was too important too. Necro Valley can hurt us, but we can go into SP Little Knight to banish it. So the choice was Millennium Ankh. Now, knowing they have no more hand traps for us, we go full Snake Eyes combo. Link Karibo, Poplar to go to the back row, Ash to send Poplar, Oak to special summon Ash, Synchro into, or Link into Moon, Moon into Fiendsmith Requiem, Requiem Tribute into Engraver, Engraver attach so we can use Oak's effect to send those two cards into our Almighty Flamberge, Link away into Sequence, use Graveyard effect of Flamberge, summon Oak and Ash, summon Desiree, and they quit, knowing that they cannot play anything against that because we would negate those two monsters and that last draw would probably be SP Little Knight. So that was the deck, Snake Eyes Fiendsmith. I hope you enjoyed those replays. Very nitty gritty, hard. This was probably one of the hardest formats I had to climb. I'm not used to playing a deck that's not Runic. That's why we will eventually go back to Runic, but because of the meta, Runic is really falling out of favor, and I just happened to make this deck when I was trying to get Azamina cards, and I just got it. So this is the Tier 1 Masters Snake Eyes Fiendsmith deck. I hope this deck can continue to stay strong. I hope you guys enjoyed this replays. It was really fun. This is the fastest I've ever gotten into Masters. I usually get there at the end of the month, but we got there in 2 weeks tops. So hope the deck stays the same, but I will keep updating any Snake Eye Fiendsmith players out there. We're gonna keep riding Fiendsmith. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Take care. You guys are amazing.